I am so delighted to be here with you on this Wednesday afternoon, January 20th. Very different from 2 Wednesdays ago. I have been laughing and weeping all day on this inauguration day. And 2 weeks ago, I just wasn't sure I was going to be able to get here because of the tough place I was in. And today I've just been mesmerized and just by watching everything happening on TV and computer and everything else. So I have to marvel that in this wonderful spirited living space that we create together every week and then ongoingly for those who don't make it here live, that once again the goddess that I picked of our inner goddess team to focus on this week is one that some of you may have heard of, but in probably a different context. And as it turns out, and I knew somewhat about her, and I'm loving doing these too because I always end up learning more and researching and going deeper. And it turns out, as the goddess would have it, that she is perfect for today and what really any inauguration day represents. So let's look at what that is, and then we'll go on a little journey with her. Baba Yaga is a Crone goddess. Now, for those of you that get all wily around hearing the word Crone, I talk about the 4 faces of the divine feminine, maiden, mother, Amazon queen, and wise woman Crone. And all Crone is from the Greek word Kronos. All it means is time. It's someone who's lived a long time. Another word that often gets, and this is what the Patriarchy does, that gets thrown in with Crone is hag or haggard. And that's kind of remarkable when I discovered that years ago, that Mary Daly, who's this radical feminist writer, wrote many books. The one that really kind of blew me away was called Gyne Ecology. You know, she just plays with words in amazing ways. And she points out that haggard actually means intractable, that you have a will of your own. And hag means holy. Hagiology is the study of holy objects. So, I mean, may we all be haggard crones as we get older, right? And that is the energy that Baba Yaga holds. She is in her original form before she was kind of taken over by the Russians and made into this horrible witch who eats children. It's a terrifying tale, apparently, that Russian children are told. But in her original form, the original archetype of Baba Yaga is as a wild woman. And she's pictured, she lives in a hut that dances around on chicken legs, which is very weird to begin with. And she rides through the sky in a mortal with a pestle as her oar. Now, if you know it, if you cook, you know that a mortar and pestle are something that you use to grind up things. And in her most powerful form, she is about grinding away what is no longer necessary. Do you see where I'm going with this? She is about the end of ignorance. I mean, that was one of the things that I read about her, one of the writers that talked about what she represents. She is that, and I'll read you some of her titles. She guards the waters of life and death. She's the white lady of death and rebirth. And she's also the ancient goddess of old bones. And again, in her original form, when you're in the midst of a transformation, or as one of the places that I researched talked about it, when we experience, and this is really, I think, key for today, when we experience a death, darkness, depression, or spiritual emptiness in our lives, we journey to Baba Yaga's hut, and she washes new life into us. Remember, she is originally this goddess of death and rebirth. She's also considered She's a goddess of autumn. Her colors are red with black and white, so I happen to have those things, so I'm honoring her with what I'm wearing today. And this is her January 20th, is actually her festival day. It was called Baba Den. And she's, I think the timing of this is amazing, because this is also the day that the sun moves into Aquarius. It is always Inauguration Day. Sometimes the sun moves into Aquarius the day before or the day after, but you get this gotta be me, wild energy, individual energy of Aquarius. And in fact, and I loved this, the Aquarius new moon is coming up on February 11th, Thursday, February 11th, and I'll be doing my new moon circle then. And I've just about always I've used, hey Mare, I've always used as the theme just about every year, unleashing or reclaiming our inner wild woman. And sometimes I bring Baba Yaga in. I'll show you a representation of her. I don't have a statue of her, but I do have this great image of her. See, she's in her pestle with her, she's in her mortar with her, flying with her pestle. And I mean, she's kind of made to look like a fairly friendly hag, I would say. And she's, so our theme for our new moon circle coming up on February 11th was already going to be unleashing, reclaiming our inner wild woman. So think about all of that, all of those metaphors, all of that symbolism in terms of what this day has been about for us. Those of us who have been in this place of darkness and depression, of spiritual emptiness over the last 4 years. And we bring ourselves to Baba Yaga to rebirth ourselves. One of the things that she does is that she takes the bones of the people who offer themselves up for her for rebirth, and she grinds them in her mortar and pestle. And because she is a goddess of the grain, she was thought to live in the last sheath of grain, at the harvest time. And so anytime if you make bread, if you bake, if you are doing anything, it's grains and corn sheaths, wreaths of grain, corn, rye, wildflowers. And if you bake with those, you are putting them in an oven. And the oven has in women's spirituality in particular, has always been this womb place, this place where you put something that needs to be baked and transformed, and then it is reborn, if you will. It's baked, comes out of the womb, comes out of the oven as this powerful piece, and in this case, all metaphorical here, something that will sustain us. So there's just so much wonderful symbolism with Baba Yaga in terms of the transformation, the transition that we are all experiencing right now. For better, for worse. I don't suspect that there are too many people watching my videos that are not real excited about what this inauguration day. So I think it's safe to say that in the Spirited Living community, most of us are celebrating and bringing all of the things that, with the spiritual emptiness, the depression that we may have been feeling over the last 4 years, to her, to Baba Yaga in her hut, so that they can be transformed. So let's see if there are any other goodies that I wanted to be sure that I think I hit all the things. And I think I told you, this blew me away when I read this one, because I didn't know this, that she symbolizes the death of ignorance. That just blows me away. And so she's also a good reminder that so often these powerful ancient goddesses, when whatever the patriarchal culture is that gets a hold of them, transforms them into something that's either frightening or weak or a nag. Hera was meant to be wife of Zeus. And when you go back and look at their original archetypes, their original goddess selves, they're really quite amazing women. As an aside, there's a wonderful book called The Lost Goddesses of Ancient Greece that looks at the original meanings of all of the goddesses that we know in the Greek pantheon. So that's our kind of context for this transformative energy that Baba Yaga brings to us today. So I invite you, let's close our eyes for a moment. Feel the wildness rising in you. There's a certain amount of wildness that we had to maintain to move through the last 4 years, to participate in those women's marches, which always happened around this time. So as you sink into the wild part of yourself, let us gather with our inner wild women, our Baba Yagas, our wise women crone selves that live within all of us, no matter how old we are. Let's imagine ourselves sitting around a fire in the woods, deep in the woods, not far from Baba Yaga's hut. And as we sit in this sacred space together, this wild space, let yourself reflect on the old bones, the negative mind talk, the hurtful memories, the damage that's been made to our democracy, to our country over the last several years. Conjure them up in your mind's eye. And if you want, it's one of the great things about not being live, we can throw them into the fire. Throw them into Baba Yaga's regenerative fire. And imagine them being transformed. All of the pain and the horror and the heartache from 2 weeks ago, and the assault on the Capitol, which looks so beautiful today, back farther, several years. Allow yourself to bring those up and to pass them out of yourself into Baba Yaga's fire, into this outdoor oven. And when you've done that enough, and you can continue to do it as words or symbols or images continue to bubble up, even after we end our time together here, then imagine all of us dancing like wild women around this fire, physically releasing from our bodies any of that baggage, any of the old bones of depression, of spiritual emptiness, of fear, of anger, of rage. Just imagine yourself dancing around this fire, releasing, cleansing yourself. Imagine this beautiful crone hag goddess making her way around the circle and sprinkling all of us too with the water of regeneration. Remember, she is also the one who guards the waters of life and death. So let's begin to come back to our space. Begin to settle down to bid farewell to Baba Yaga, to our spirit selves who were dancing together around this fire, around this regenerative open oven of death and rebirth. And feel yourself coming back into your space. Feel yourself coming back into your body, feeling yourself fully alive, feeling your inner wild woman. As you open your eyes, feel her dancing with abandon in this day of celebration. Welcome back. So, thank you all for being with me. I don't think I'll do a chant today. Not in that space for some reason, because I love to sing. But I encourage you to learn more about Baba Yaga, and I'm happy to send you one of the sites I found that had lots of wonderful information about her. Thank you for being with me, and look forward to dancing again with your divinely feminine wisdom when we gather next week. Same time, same sacred spirited space. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now, and go join the rest of your beautiful day.